Welcome to this week's episode of It Shouldn't Happen to Us, our Ish2 podcast. And today's episode is all about whale hunting. Ooh, what's whale hunting? It's about how we have to have a different system, a different process, a different set of techniques and tactics and strategy to close large accounts. Large accounts are a blessing, but they can also be a curse. So listen to today's episode all the way through and find out how to close those big accounts.
Straight from Miami, this is It Shouldn't Happen to Us. After 30 plus years of selling and training sales teams, we still screw it up sometimes. And this is where we tell you all about it because it shouldn't happen to us. Hello.
Yo. So, Sophia and Carlos here. Tell me, Sophia, what have you got for our viewers? What have you got for our listeners? What have you decided to talk about today?
Today's topic is whale hunting. I've been doing a lot of whale hunting recently. I've been coaching a lot of clients who are whale hunting recently, and it's fresh on the dome. So I figured let's have a chatty poo about whale hunting.
Fresh on the dome. That is brilliant. My dome is more dome-like than your dome. Have you noticed that? My dome. I've got more of a dome-like dome.
I don't know. If I shave my head, I don't know what I'm working with up there. But anyway,
you don't know what you're working with, right? Great topic, whale hunting, because we've been doing some whale hunting recently. But I tell you what, it's not cool to just do the whale hunting. Tell people what you mean by whale hunting. Put that in context. Tell our issues.
So very oddly, our office, we categorize our sizes of clients and prospects like a National Geographic magazine. We've got our squirrel clients, we've got our rabbit-sized clients, deer, elephant, and then whale. Did I miss one?
Some in fairness don't even really qualify as squirrels, right? I mean, they are like
hungry, scratchy
squirrels. We used to have more of those than we have now, thank goodness.
We have
the squirrels.
We love ourselves.
The squirrels need looking after too, right? We come to the market with a big heart. We're looking after people. So squirrels need a help, even the skinnier, scratchier squirrels. And then there are rabbits, and then there are deer, and then there are and it's what actually, Antonio used to talk about bear clients. I never really got
bears. I think I missed bears.
Deer, bear, elephant, and then all the way at the top is whales, right?
We've never mentioned bear. And bears, it's kind of a big skip from deer to elephant. I knew there was an animal missing.
It needs something, right? And that's the bear.
There needs to be something there. Yeah, and you're right. You're right. We got to help out those squirrels, but you don't want your client base to be Squirrel City because we know that the squirrels can be a little bit of an energy suck if you let them.
Well, they're like a snack, right? The way I always think of it is, so you're out in the marketplace and you're hunting for clients, and so your squirrel's like a little snack. It'll tide you over, and then you've got your rabbits. Well, you make a meal out of a rabbit, right? Hey, listen, my dad grew up on a farm. He could make a meal out of a rabbit. I mean, you wouldn't want to see it happen, but he could make a meal out of a rabbit.
My Cuban political refugee father can make a meal out of a rat, a pigeon. Pigeon picadillo.
I imagine when he arrived in New York from Cuba, he occasionally had to make a meal out of a rat, right?
Oh my God. I'm sure he did. So, there's a story that I can tell.
Well, a deer will. You've told me that story. I don't think it's for the pod.
It's not for the pod. Email me if you want a video art of me telling the story.
Yeah. Then you've got a deer. Now a deer will feed you for a week. A deer has got different lovely cuts on it. It'll feed a family of you. Then the bear. Well, the bear will come at you. The bear's aggressive. The whale obviously will feed the whole village for a month or whatever. But wow, hard to kill a whale. Hard to kill an elephant.
It's hard to kill a whale.
right?
Yeah, and so you got to use you got to use different tools to whale hunt than you would a squirrel, right? I don't even know what do you use to actually hunt whales.
Well, I imagine it's well, I imagine it's whatever it is. It's housed on a boat, right?
Right.
What's your favorite Zig Ziglar quote?
Oh,
Do you remember?
right. Yes, I have it here. It's confidence is going after Moby Dick in a rowboat and taking the tartar sauce with you. Ugh.
That's conviction. That's
Conviction.
confidence.
But you
Yeah.
can't use the same, whatever you're using to whale hunt, you can't use that to squirrel or rabbit hunt because there won't be any squirrel or rabbit left to service. But let's take it further back.
Let's take a step further back and say, surely, I mean, here's the challenge. We know the answer, but I'm gonna give you the challenge, right? Well, Sophia, surely if whales and elephants are so cool, there's so much money in whales and elephants, don't you just want whale and elephant clients? Go. What's the answer to that?
Well, that would be very nice, but at the same time, that's an anxious place to be because those whale and elephant clients, you're kind of at the mercy of 70% of your business is coming from whale and elephant clients. God forbid the day you get a dreadful cancellation email. It's much better to have a diversified client list of all of the animal kingdom because it's a scary place to be. And they take what it takes to service and delight an elephant and a whale is probably a lot more time and energy, team effort, strategy than to keep a deer or a rabbit or a squirrel happy.
100%. Do you know, I know people, and you know people in our business that have, and we know clients that have one or two or three big clients that feed them very well. I mean, there's a lot of economics in these.
Oh yeah.
accounts.
Oh yeah.
But it's danger, because what happens when they, hey, listen, we're going to go in a different direction. We've just been bought. We've just bought somebody else. We've got hey, listen, people go out of business. And if your customer concentration is if you've got high customer concentration, if you're over reliant on 1, 2, or 3 accounts, guess what? You work for them. It's a scary place to be. It's certainly, and I know in our business, I know colleagues of ours who make a great living until the day they don't. They make a great living off 1 or 2 big accounts until the day they don't anymore.
That gives me heartburn.
Like, wow.
That gives me heartburn. So, yeah. So what does it take to hunt a whale? So it's funny because I wanted to talk about this topic because I was training a group last week, and their big objective, this team, is to whale hunt. And I get a sense that there's some guys on the team, guys and gals on the team, that get a little, they've gotten a little discouraged after like 1 or 2 touches, and they're like, oh, I'm really just speaking to the receptionist, or I'm speaking to someone, who's, I don't have the numbers of the guys or the gals at the top. So they get discouraged and they think it's a waste of a phone call. I'm like, no, guys. This whale hunting game, elephant hunting game, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Yes, of course, it would be wonderful to work from the top, get that CEO president on the phone and work them and get that meeting with them. But this is a different game, this whale hunting. We got to do the groundwork. Don't think just because you got somewhere lower on the totem pole, doesn't mean it's a waste of a call. Sales is about the information we gather, not the information we dispense. Get some information, start building a case, start building some relationships, get some good insights.
It is an absolute truth that your strategy, techniques, mindset, the energy that you bring to an enterprise sale is materially different to the one that's looked after you in with squirrels and with deers and these elephants and these whales. And interestingly, I know that the client you were training last week, they for us are they're not an elephant account, but they're probably a bear account. There's maybe maybe what,
Sure.
40, 50 salespeople in that team. There's like a 40, 50 salesperson team. It's a great account. They are cool people. And
Very cool.
and they have put their eyes on the horizon, and they have made a decision, which is a cool decision, by the way. They've made a decision just to mix it up a little bit and to shoot for a few bigger accounts. I think that's a cool decision. They've made a decision to shoot for some bigger accounts in their pipeline. Well, they want some bigger, not exclusively, but some bigger accounts as customers. How do you get bigger accounts as customers? You've got to work some bigger accounts into your pipeline. How do you get bigger accounts into your pipeline? You've got to prospect in a different way. You've got to work some different account sizes into your prospecting plan, into your leads list, into your suspects list. And then the danger is you decide. So it's cool to make that decision. But then the danger is I'm going to do what I've always done in deer and rabbit world. I'll just change the names, right? I'll change the names and the numbers so that now the names and the numbers have got are elephant and whale names and numbers. But I'm going to do what I always did. That's where it goes south fast. Because basically you're bringing an air rifle to an elephant hunt. You don't bring an air rifle to an elephant hunt. The elephant doesn't notice when you shoot an air rifle. In exactly the same way as you don't bring an elephant gun to a squirrel hunt. Because what happens when you shoot an elephant gun at a squirrel? There's not a lot of eating left. There's not a lot left of that squirrel.
That's right.
Pieces, right.
Yeah, and think about the stuff you're doing for the rabbit and the deer. Okay, researching. Do you think you have to do more research or less research for a whale? Do you think you have to have
scratch head? What do you think?
Scratch head.
I'm going to guess more research.
Right. Do you think you need to leverage your network more or less? What do I mean by leverage your network? Use your existing network to find potential large accounts and then reach out to your current clients. Do a reverse search on LinkedIn. Go to the company page within LinkedIn, click on people, and see if you have any mutual connections with literally anybody, and work it backwards and see can we warm this icy cold whale lead up in any way possible at all?
And they're usually the way, because a whale is bigger. There's more people, so there are more potential, more points of contact, more potential. And I tell you, the research, if you go on the internet and do some research on Mrs. Miggins' pie shop round the corner, Mrs. Miggins' pie shop is not going to be in the newspaper, right? But you go and do some research on, I don't know, Goodyear tires. Guess what? Loads to talk about. They're in the newspapers. They're at conferences. They're speaking, their senior leadership is speaking at this event and that event. It's bigger. So there's more to get hold of, right?
Right. And as you're saying that, I'm thinking about, does your equal business stature, Ish Tours, if you're listening to us, obviously, please subscribe to our channel. But there is another episode on.
It makes sense.
You want to do it. We do have a previous episode about equal business stature. Here's what will happen to someone who's used to squirrels, rabbits, and deer. They've been hunting in that space for a long time, and they look at the decision makers within a Goodyear account, a big whale account, and that equal business stature depletes. It's wiped out. They're thinking to themselves, think about what's in these guys, that the CEO, CFO, CRO, whatever their title is. They're thinking, damn, imagine what's in their checking account versus what's in my checking account. Look where they are on their organization chart versus me. You need to double down on that equal business stature more than ever in the whale account, because the mindset needs to be, why not me? Why not now? Why not me? Why not now?
And I think this is such an important point of principle to wrap it. People do get a little, we see it in our clients all the time. Salespeople who are really comfortable selling at one level of account get awfully itchy, awfully uncomfortable. It just doesn't feel right on them, right? The jacket doesn't quite fit when they try and put on a whale hunting jacket. It just doesn't feel right. This isn't me. I'm comfortable in an entirely different office. I know what to do with an entirely different office. And as soon as I move into when I move my target to a bigger account, it isn't unusual to feel a little less than. But recognize something. A couple of things very important. First thing I would encourage our ish-toers to recognize, especially if you're going to put a strategy together of shooting for a bigger account. First thing to recognize is, you know what? Those are people too. The same people. It's the same people. Now, is that person got a bit more money? Yeah, he's got a bit more money. But often more money, more problems. Isn't there a song? More money, more problems. I think there's a more money, more problems song, right?
I believe there is.
So it's like more money, more problems. The problems are bigger. The problems are bigger, and that's why best thing that can happen to them is to meet you today, because those problems are more valuable to solve. Often, and we know this, often it's the same amount of work for 10 times more money. In fact, I'll go a step further.
Totally.
It's often less work for more money because the value of the problem you're solving is that much bigger. It just is. It's a bigger problem, a bigger value to solve. It puts your, however you want to think, your price point, if you want to think about it as a price point, the context of your price point is entirely different. You should have you can have much more confidence and conviction in with a bigger account.
It's so true. It's oftentimes the money conversation too is easier with a bigger account. But here's the thing. I get it. Sales reps, account executives, they're out there and it really, whale hunting can become very discouraging if you do not celebrate every single little win. They opened an email, celebrate that. You got past a gatekeeper, celebrate that, because I get it. It can feel really disheartening when the juice doesn't feel worth the squeeze. But it's slow and steady wins the race. This is a groundwork, got to do the groundwork game. Don't get discouraged. And besides,
go ahead.
No, and besides, we know, thanks to HubSpot, who we love, it takes 14 touches before a prospect becomes a client. Probably a little more when it comes to whale hunting, maybe even a little more. Recognize that.
And you're right about it getting discouraging, especially if you are used to, let's imagine you're used to squirrel accounts. So you're in squirrel accounts, you're used to closing squirrel accounts, you're used to that very high touch service you've got to give, very demanding, but you know what? They love you forever. They love you so much. You're part of the family. And it's cool. You feel great about it. You haven't got much money, but you're feeling great about it. And you're used to closing those accounts. And you walk in, you meet them, you have a great conversation, you walk out the door with a new account. It's like, this is easy. This is great. And they're very appreciative, but they don't give you a lot of money. That's all right. They're very appreciative. They give you love in lots of other ways. Now, we know that the true measure of sales is in the bank. We know that people that really love you give you love letters with pictures of ex-presidents on them, right? They're the love letters that they send you when they're the ones we should be interested in. But it is nice when a client loves you. Those squirrel accounts are going to love you. And then you move up from squirrel to, say, deer. And it can be awfully uncomfortable to not be walking out of every meeting with a yes or a no. Because with a deer, you don't walk out of every meeting with a yes or a no. You walk out of every meeting, if you know what you're doing, you walk out of every meeting with more information than you walked in, with a very clear next step, booked in the calendar. What's your favorite, what's your expression that you love? Where you walk out of a meeting with another meeting.
Bam, fam.
Bam, fam. Book a meeting.
From a meeting.
From a meeting, that's right. You just always have the next step in your calendar. So it takes a while before you realize, wow, as long as I can leave that meeting with the goal achieved, with the next meeting set up, with more information than I walked in, with a warmer champion or an insight. Hey, here's often one of the big changes. Squirrel accounts, the mix of what you teach them and what they teach you in a sales meeting is kind of, I don't know, broadly 50-50. But as you go into, into those larger accounts, that mix changes. It's less about what you tell them. It's more about what you ask them. And it's more about what you learn from them. And it's more about what you teach them. That's how the mix changes as it gets to a bigger account. And you can usually have good visibility on that end goal in a deer account. You usually know, okay, I know where I am. It's going to be the next meeting or the one after that. And I'll know whether I've got a client or not, right? That got Godfather moment. You know, remember like Hyman Roth, I'm going to go to sleep, and when I wake up, there's either a bag with $1 million on the coffee table or there's not. I'll know I've got a partner that when I wake up. So it's like, you know, you'll know what, you know where it is. You're looking at you're looking and you think it's that meeting or the one after, and we really, that I know it. I can see it. I can see the finish line. Now you're in whale territory, whale and elephant territory. Do you know what? That's uncomfortable. Can be 5-10 meetings. You could spend 3 meetings with a champion navigating the complex politics. You know, if you go right back to that, you know, the Rackham stuff, where you find with the bigger accounts, there's more separation between the center of dissatisfaction and the center of influence and the center of finance. These things, as the account gets big, it's like blowing up a balloon, right? As you blow up the balloon, spots on the balloon get further apart. Big account, the different parts that you need to navigate get further apart. It's hard.
Well, and Carlos, for those meetings, 3-4 meetings with a champion, I mean, it's more meetings, period. Do you think you have to role play for those meetings more or less? Do your questions need to be better, or can you, right? I wonder. This is not, if you've worked so hard to land a meeting with a champion, do not practice with the champion. The time to practice is not La Copa Mundial, right? The World Cup is not the time to practice. Role play, come with questions that position you as a real trusted advisor, industry leader.
Pre-call plan. That's more important, not less important. Now you could, as a salesperson, you could convince yourself, do you know what? This isn't a decision maker, so I don't need to be as well prepped as I would be as I'm gonna be when I'm sat in with the CEO. You could convince yourself of that. That would make logical step. But Sophia and I are here saying to you today, no, do not fall into that trap. That champion, or even a center of influence, or even a gatekeeper needs more prep, more role play, a better mindset, stronger conviction, better questions. In an elephant account, they just do.
Looking into introductions, what kind of introductions would you like to get? Would you like to get, because birds of a feather flock together. Again, this is not a squirrel discriminating podcast. We love our squirrels, but squirrels are going to give you more squirrels. I'd like some whales to give me more whales. I'm sorry, squirrels.
We're going to get cancelled by the squirrel community, Sophia. We run the risk of getting cancelled. So, yeah, the beautiful thing is that these big accounts have got a lot of people in them that know a lot more people than a squirrel account. Again, we love our squirrels, but they don't know as many people. And there aren't as many people at the account to engage with. Hey, a big account now. Let's not let the pendulum swing too far. The real message from today is a nice mix. Have some of those squirrels.
Nice mix.
Some of those deer. You want those squirrel accounts and deer accounts, and you want some bears and accounts. You want them all in there. And to have a account mix like that, you need a pipeline mix like that. And to have a pipeline mix like that, you need a prospect mix like that. It goes back to first principles. What I think a second important message from today is a whale account has a different set of techniques, a different set of tools to close one, different strategy, and most important of all, a different mindset.
Most important.
Rich in conviction, rich in equal business stature, high consultative. You know, that's what's important in a whale account. It needs to be different. You need to attack it differently. And sometimes it's going to feel uncomfortable when you're not quite sure where the finish line is. But slow and steady wins the race, right, Sophia?
That's right. Whale hunting. This is a whale hunting support group. If you know where to find us, guys, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and become an official Ish Tour. And that is thanks and goodbye from Carlos.
Hey, and goodbye from Sophia. And also, final important point, keep your eye on your inboxes or get to our website and sign up for our newsletter. There's going to be a weekly newsletter that we are kicking off for our Ish2 community. We kick that newsletter off, I think, over the next few days. If I can get the team organized and ready to go, we should have our newsletter out with you in the next few day or two. Yeah. So whale hunting episode. That's it. That's the pod. Well done, Sophia. Beautiful.
That's it.
Beautiful
Bada
pod.
bing, bada boom. Bye,
Bada bing.
guys.
See you
Thanks for
guys. See you
listening.
guys.